What's going on, YouTube? Reason Out is coming at you once again, baby, and I'm answering actually a request. This is from the Ray Stevenson. This was left as a comment slash request on my last video, which was basically me asking y'all, my subscribers, people who see my videos, for different topics and requests on what to do videos on. Because quite frankly, lately I'm just coming across a blank when it comes to themes as far as videos. And he asked me to do basically a year one review for the Nintendo Wii U. Nintendo's performance and just basically all that's transpired throughout year one of the Nintendo Wii U's life cycle, since we are actually a year today. Actually, today's the 19th. Yesterday was a year that the Wii U has been around. So it's funny too, because now that I realize that it's actually officially been a year, that would have been a theme that I was gonna tackle. So thank you so much to Ray Stevenson. I'm gonna hit that up right now, man. Let's just go right into it. First off, 12 months on the market. Nintendo reveals the Wii U at E3. Really, they hinted at it somewhat in E3 2011. 2012, they made their official reveal. And later on in 2012, November 18th, if I'm not mistaken, was the exact date, it hit the market. Now at E3 in 2012, they made a lot of promises, made a lot of declarations, came out with a lot of swag, a lot of just, confidence. And why not? Your last console sold over 100 million units worldwide, stomping a mud hole in the competition. And PS3 and Xbox 360, for all their power and online functionality and all those things, which are great things, could not match the power, or the selling power, I should say, of that little white box. So at E3 2012, Nintendo came out guns blazing, basically revealing the new system, the new controller, a lot of appearances from third-party partners. A lot of they had a reel. I remember they showed a sizzle reel, so to speak, of a lot of third-party developers just praising Nintendo's Wii U and this new console and the new opportunities that it provides for gameplay, and basically singing the praises of Nintendo for offering them the best platform they've ever offered. EA comes to mind, as they actually showed up physically on stage and talked about how they had an unprecedented partnership with Nintendo. We all know where that went, which I'll get into. But, they came out guns blazing and basically with a lot of confidence and a lot of just presence, saying, look, we're here, we're coming this year, November, get ready. This is a console that's going to get the hardcore back. The Wii was awesome. I'll tell you straight up, as a gamer, I love the Wii. Some people are ashamed to admit that. I'm not. I play games for the fun, not for what people would think of me playing certain games. But that's another story. The Wii was awesome. But they basically were acknowledging that in the success and in the awesomeness of the Wii, they did. It did seem that they had lost a little bit of the aim or focus that they had in previous generations on the hardcore gamer, quote unquote. Again, if you watch my videos, you know I hate that term. I think a gamer is a gamer, period. You just got to define what a gamer is. To me, a gamer is somebody who plays games as their number one form of entertainment. That plays games across all platforms. That plays games of all genres. That just loves video games. But anyways, that was their whole thing. They felt like it was kind of like a confession, so to speak, from Nintendo, saying, hey, look, we know that we got all these new fans and this new audience expansion thing that we had going on with the Wii, but we didn't forget about y'all. This console is for you, the Wii U. It's for the hardcore gamer, and this is the console that is tailor-made for you. Fast forward to November 18, 2012, the Wii U comes out, hits the market. I get mine on day one. I got Zombie U as my launch day game. My first impressions of the console, as soon as I unboxed that bad boy, plugged it in, put in Zombie U, did the day one update. And it's funny because a lot of people hated on Nintendo for having that day one update, but here comes PS4 with another day one update. Here comes Microsoft Xbox One that is going to have a day one update. There's always some type of initial setup for these consoles when you buy them. It's inescapable. You know what I'm saying? So after I did the day one setup, which did take about 45 minutes to an hour, my connection's pretty decent. Put in Zombie U, man, and I was floored. I was blown away by the brand new gameplay experience that I was experiencing with the dual screen experience, the gamepad, and the way that it was integrated into Zombie U. Ubisoft did a really good job on that. It is by far, to me, it is still the definitive Wii U experience if you really want to see what the gamepad can do to change gameplay. But my first impressions were, this is amazing. I finally have a Nintendo console that has a solid online presence and infrastructure. The eShop is great. The Virtual Console I knew was coming back. An amazing day one launch game in Zombie U, which didn't get the credit it deserved in hindsight, but it was still, and it still is to this day, an amazing game. I was very, very pleased with the console. Very shortly after, I got New Super Mario Bros. U, which I love, still play to this day. And I was very impressed with the technology that the system brought, the graphical power of the system, and all the different features, Netflix, YouTube, and all that. Now, at E3 2012, Nintendo really spent a nice amount of time showcasing what I thought was going to be a game-changing feature, and I believe still can be. But, you know, back then, this was promised basically to be out by very close to launch, if not at launch, and that is Nintendo TV. Well, the system launched, Nintendo TV wasn't ready till late December. That was a negative for me. The YouTube and Hulu Plus apps did not work right away on day one. There had to be an update or something down the line a couple months later to make that work. That was a negative for me. When you have all these things, especially when you turn on your Wii U, they're right there on your gamepad. Those apps are right there. But I can't use them. They're not ready. See, that I didn't like. Now, it sold like gangbusters during its launch. All the way through to about January. 3.5 million. Very strong launch. After that, Nintendo stumbled all over itself because they did not anticipate the resources and the manpower it would take to make these HD games, given that this is their first jump into the HD category. So we had a very long drought. I think it was around 80 to 88 days without a new release. It wasn't until a new significant release. It wasn't until Lego City Undercover came out, which I do own and is an amazing game. It wasn't until that we had something new to play. Now, thankfully, I had Black Ops 2 and Assassin's Creed 3 along with New Super Mario Bros. U and Zombie U to keep me entertained. Now, I didn't have Assassin's Creed 3 for my PS3 or Call of Duty Black Ops 2 because once I heard it was coming out on the Wii U, I wanted to get it on the Wii U because of the gamepad experience and I wanted to support my Nintendo console. So since those games were virtually new to me, I was entertained, yet I could still feel the drop. Sales dropped miserably. I mean, this is one of the worst selling consoles I have ever had the experience in my life of coming across. That being said, as the games languished, as releases languished, promises were broken in the sense of Nintendo TV, YouTube, and Hulu Plus and all that. Nintendo started to right the ship. Also, there was a very slow, very slow OS at the very beginning. Let me get that out of the way. But then Nintendo started to right the ship with updates, not just to its OS to stabilize it and make it faster, but to Miiverse, which is the online community that's on the Wii U, which is just a godsend. That is one thing Nintendo has that not even Xbox Live has. That the Miiverse just has a special feel to it, and it just has a special touch of Nintendo to it. It's kind of like a glorified swap note, but with a lot more functionality and a lot more interaction between the people who are on it. But that being said, they begin to do updates to Miiverse. They begin to do updates to the actual OS and to the overall system stability. Nintendo TV finally in late December was available, and though I think it could still use some updates and some more tinkering with, like I want to be able to use video and record video on Nintendo TV. It still doesn't have, it's a year later and it still doesn't have DVR functionality, but it does have a lot of cool features, and I like watching my NBA and stuff with my Nintendo TV on, following it, so it is a good thing. As they started to right the ship, I grew more and more happy. Now, everybody was waiting for E3 2013 this past year. That was what was going to determine if us Nintendo gamers were going to be comfortable with the Wii U going forward. And Nintendo came out with just game after game after game on E3. They didn't even do a press conference. They said, you know what, we're going to do a small media event for all the press. We're going to do a Best Buy event all over the country so that people can play these games, whereas Microsoft and Sony, you can't play their E3 showcase games until they actually release. And we're going to do a special Nintendo E3 Direct to all the fans and all the people who own the system and who own Wii's who might want to upgrade a Wii U. I thought that was a very smart choice. I didn't see the need for Nintendo to do a press conference this year, especially with 2 new consoles looming. They're going to get all the buzz and noise anyway, you know, so whatever. The E3 blew my socks off, and I was reassured that I had made the right choice in purchasing a Wii U. Now, they're taking a lot longer to get off the ground than I anticipated, but the journey is 90% of the fun. And I'm having a blast. Right now, we fast forward to today, I have 11 Wii U games. 1 digitally downloaded from the eShop and 10 physical ones. I have Zombie U, Mario Bros. U, Assassin's Creed 3, Pikmin 3, The Wonderful 101, Black Ops 2, Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, Resident Evil Revelations. I have a bunch of games for the system for people who say that there's no games on it, and I'm enjoying the hell out of them. While people want to nitpick and say that the specs of the upcoming PS4, or the PS4 that has just arrived, and the upcoming Xbox One that comes out later this week are miles ahead of the Wii U, which is bullshit. They are ahead, but just marginally. I'm looking at the Wii U's graphical output and saying, damn, this is more than enough for me, because I'm all about gameplay. The gamepad, the way it gets integrated to games, especially Nintendo games and certain third-party games that really take their time and effort to make the game for the system, it's just an experience that cannot be duplicated on any other system. And before you say Smart Glass, which is garbage, and Remote Play with PS Vita, which is, it's cool, but it's not as good as something that was built in with the system, and plus nobody bought a fucking Vita, so that's the other thing. You know, it's an experience that only Nintendo can give you, so that's why I'm very high on the Wii U. As I look to the future, to the second year, I mean, we're finishing off this year very strong. Sales have tripled in a lot of areas and a lot of regions, and are only going to continue to spike with the release this Friday of Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario 3D World. The Wii Fit U and Wii Party U just came out. The upcoming Smash Brothers and Mario Kart 8 of next year, and Bayonetta 2, Monolith Soft's X, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. I mean, Sonic Lost World and the Wind Waker HD just came out a couple months ago. Well, not a couple months, but a couple weeks ago. And you know what I'm saying? They have a good library of games behind them. So if I look at this first year and I'm going to give it a review, I'm going to give it a C-. I would have given it a straight up F or D+ had they not righted the ship, had they not started focusing on, yeah, our 3DS is kicking ass, but let's give some attention to the Wii U. And had they not started coming with a barrage of titles. I mean, it's got great titles all around the board. You want to go third party for a system that supposedly has no third party? We have Splinter Cell Blacklist. We have Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. We have Call of Duty Ghosts, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. We have Wonderful 101. We have Sonic Lost World, Sonic All-Stars and Racing Transform. There's a bunch of titles. You know, we have Batman Arkham Origins, Arkham City. Now we have Watch Dogs coming along with the rest of the consoles. So it's got a decent library of games and upcoming games. Had they not come with this aggressive game releasing strategy to try to right the ship, I would have stayed at a D+ or an F. But since I see them doing that, since I see, you know, the upcoming lineup of games and no real delays other than Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which I was pissed off about, but I can hold on with all these other games that are coming out. Since I see them, you know, basically getting all the kinks out, having done all the system updates, and now we see PlayStation 4 and its tremendous failure rate problem that's going on right now just after launch, and its network being down, and we already know that Microsoft Xbox One's network is also months away from being ready, and it's going to be down when they launch. When I see that 90% of the games that Nintendo's coming out with now are 1080p, 60 frames per second, but I look at Microsoft and Rise Son of Rome is 900p. I look at other games on the PS4 and Xbox One are at 720 or 900p. At 60 frames per second, or they are 1080p but they're 30 frames per second, and this system that's supposedly so much underpowered compared to the other two is basically banging almost everything out at 1080p 60 frames per second. When I look at all that, I gotta bump it up to a C+. There's a lack of advertising that's abysmal. It had a very slow start and a big sales slump and a big drought of no games, but that's all history, and now they're starting to rev up in all those areas, and the sales are starting to reflect it. So I give it a C+ as the whole first year review. Going into the next year, I am more than psyched. Like I said, man, Mario Kart 8, Super Smash Brothers, Monolith Soft's X, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, Watch Dogs. I mean, there's a shitload of games coming for the Wii U, and they also got their share of exclusives like Bayonetta 2, and Monolith Soft's X is another one. Bunch of games that other people will die to have on their consoles. So I'm very optimistic about year 2. I don't think it's going to be anything like year 1. I think it's going to be a lot more positive news about the Wii U. But it is a Nintendo console, so you're going to have your haters and you're going to have your shit talking in the media. But the Ray Stevenson, I hope that I've answered the request that you put adequately. Out of time, I only got a minute left, man. So like I said, man, this was for you and the request you made. Thank you so much for participating and giving me a request. And feel free to bring as many as you want, man. God bless y'all. All of y'all stay gaming. Reasonotics out. Peace.